The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. They have destabilized society, made life unfulfilling, subjected human beings to indignities, led to widespread psychological suffering, and inflicted severe damage on the natural world. These were the opening lines Ted Kaczynski wrote in his 1995 manifesto, just before being identified as the Unabomber. At the time of his arrest, Brandon Ewing, better known today as Atrioc, was just 4 years old. The unique technological horrors warned about in this manifesto would soon be exemplified in his life better than anyone could have ever imagined. 13 years later, in 2009, Atrioc started his career as a journalist for IGN and various other esports sites. He said he was making about $15 an article at the time. While working as a journalist, he had aspirations of much more, hoping to one day become a professional League of Legends player. That dream had become closer to reality when in late 2012, he became the 13th highest rated player in all of North America. A few months later, his collegiate esports team qualified for IPL 6, a $1 million tournament in Las Vegas, the biggest of its kind at the time. Unfortunately for him and his team, at the last minute the event got cancelled. Atrioc decided to quit on the same day and stop playing League altogether. He remained interested in esports, but no longer wanted to compete. In early 2014, he got a job working on the marketing team at Twitch. As part of his new job, he appeared as a permanent host on the show Twitch Weekly for several years.
Welcome to Twitch Weekly for the week of 4/25/18, and we've got Brandon, aka Atrioc. What up?
While working at Twitch, Atrioc would be introduced to the pro Smash scene for the first time.
Hi, my name is Brandon. I work at Twitch, tag Atrioc. Ever since I started working here, Bobby Scar got me into Melee, and now I'm like really into it about 1 year later.
Somewhere around this point is when an up-and-coming streamer named Ludwig first began following Atrioc, telling him he wanted to go down the same path he did to one day become a Twitch employee, but they wouldn't become friends until several years later. In 2017, just under 4 years after starting at Twitch, Atrioc announced he would be leaving to work at Nvidia. The next year, Atrioc and Ludwig both went to the Big House, a Smash tournament in Detroit. There, they'd meet up and casually play several matches against one another. At the time, Ludwig was averaging just 1 to 200 viewers a stream, and was all but broke.
On my ranking of people who I like playing Melee with, Atrioc is #1. And that's because he always keeps it lighthearted, and he will double or nothing until I break even.
Okay.
And
Back when he was broke, I would throw till he got his money back.
That's
We're in the
fun.
corner
Or
of the
we
venue.
teamed. Me and
We were
Nick
doing
teamed.
$50
That was
money
so
match. I was like, damn, this kid's got no money, and he's fucking playing
This
for 50.
kid.
Because he was, he's
I had
younger
it
than
for
me.
the reads. I was rolling in it.
Yeah, he was heading for the reads, and at one point he was down $700, and I was like, I'm the asshole here. Like,
You actually calculate by how much he was willing to lose,
Yeah.
how much your friendship was worth to him at the time.
yeah, because he was still
He
playing.
wanted to be your friend so bad that he was down to lose all of his money.
Yeah.
Well, I was also trying to win it back.
They kept in touch after going home, and while Ludwig began to see meaningful growth on Twitch, Atrioc remained focused on his job at Nvidia. Over the years, he had quickly been promoted to manager of global consumer marketing, a position that pays at least several $100,000 a year. In 2019, Atrioc began appearing on Ludwig's streams. This is also when he started streaming himself, much more consistently. He used his experience working in marketing for the past 5 years to make content discussing various advertising campaigns and news. He also branched out into Hitman 3 speedrunning, which at the time was a small and mostly dead category. Due to the relative size of the community, he was able to get several world records. His content wasn't for everyone, but within his niche he was beloved. He became one of the few streamers on Twitch I would keep up with. It seemed things were finally really looking up for him. By 2022, revenue from his stream and YouTube channel had quickly outpaced what he was making from his job at Nvidia. In August of that year, he married his longtime girlfriend Ari, who had been by his side since he was chasing his dreams of playing League professionally. The next month, he quit his job at Nvidia to start a talent agency called Off-Brand with Ludwig and their friends Stans and Nick Allen. Just 125 days later, everything he built up to this point would come crashing down in a way nobody could have expected. While streaming Hitman, a viewer would ask what time it was for him.
What time is it where I am? What time is it PST?
16 milliseconds. That's the amount of time it took for Atrioc to add an asterisk to his entire life's work. For just a single frame, you could see all the tabs he had opened. Among them was a porn site. This alone would be enough to get him temporarily banned due to Twitch's strict policies, but unfortunately for him, it wasn't just any porn site. It was a paywalled site that provided deepfakes featuring other streamers, including some of his close friends. He had specifically at least purchased deepfaked images of Pokimane and Maya Higa. This is already some straight up embarrassing shit. At this point, he had several options for a response. Not all hope was lost, and there was probably a perfectly reasonable explanation. The next day, the public would get their answers when Atrioc went live for a 14-minute stream. What followed was one of the weirdest apologies I have ever seen.
I want to say, first of all, that it's true. It's 100% true. I looked at a deep fake porn video of streamers. And again, there's no excuse for it. I'm not defending anyway. I think this whole fucking category of stuff is wrong. I 100%. But I want people to know that, you know, because the thing that I think that hurt me the most is like, I've done a lot on the stream to like create a pattern of behavior where I really want, especially women on Twitch, to feel safer. Like we call fucking booba spam cringe. We don't do that there. I've never made like a fucking weird, I don't know, seat sniffing joke. I've never done anything like that. I've never done anything like that on the stream.
When you guys spam that emote in chat, I say that's cringe. So first of all, let's just get that out of the way. I do support women. What would the women say when they see that emote?
And then fucking at 2 a.m., you know, I've been watching so much fucking, I've been reading so much fucking AI stuff. I'm reading all this fucking stuff about AI and deepfake music, deepfake art and everything. And I'm in these fucking Discords. But I was on fucking Pornhub, dude. I was on a fucking regular ass normal fucking website. And there was an ad. There's an ad on every fucking video for this fucking... So I know other people must be clicking it because it's on every fucking video for fucking deepfake thing. And then I click it and I'm fucking in this fucking rabbit hole. And at 2 a.m. I fucking... I don't know. I got morbidly curious and I clicked something. And I it's just fucking... It's gross. It's gross, and I'm sorry.
I was just doing some light reading about all this AI stuff. One thing leads to another. Suddenly, I'm deep faking porn of my friends. Also, I clicked the ads on a porn site. I don't know. This man is lost.
We don't do sexual jokes on here. We don't. I fucking Reddit. Not safe for work gifts is 99% if I ever do any fucking porn. It's so weird to say.
Just in case you were wondering, I usually jerk off to gifs on Reddit and not my friends. Why was that necessary to include, though? I just don't understand why does the public need to know that?
But I do believe Brandon in saying this is not a pattern of behavior. He's pretty transparent with everything, keeping all his tabs open all the time, so I'm pretty privy to what he's up to. And Brandon always clicks through paywalls, so that wasn't kind of like an obstacle for him.
He always clicks through paywalls. He can't help himself. When there's a paywall, he has to pay for it. If he sees a paywall, the credit card's coming out. The stream ended with him saying he'd be going to Japan for a while. Everything about the apology, including its sole existence, seemed to make the situation worse for him, and drew dramatically more attention to all the women who appeared on the site. People were also quick to point out that Pornhub had banned deepfake videos entirely from their platform as far back as 2018. If that was the case, how could Atrioc have gotten a deepfake ad in the first place? I'm not sure this proves much, considering I still get these Mr. Beast scam ads on YouTube to this day, despite them violating like 5 different policies. I'm also not sure how many people actually bothered reading the article they pointed to, because even the author admits deepfake videos are still plastered all over the platform. But either way, I honestly don't think it really matters all that much. After the stream, the situation grew far beyond his community, to the point where it'd make more sense to have just lied about it or ignored it altogether. Not that what he did was good or okay, but God, you should have lied about it, man. You should have said someone sent me this, I thought it was funny. I don't know. Lie about it, dude. Fucking lie to me. I don't care. Lie. But lying is wrong, I hear you say, and sure. But I'd argue drawing that amount of attention to communities deepfaking streamers to the point where the streamers themselves are expected to respond and acknowledge it does more harm than just ignoring it would have. It only makes the target on their backs much bigger as a result. I'm also not sure how anything could look worse for Atrioc than the apology he gave. The way it was handled is the opposite of delicate or thought through. After realizing how bad the initial response was, Atrioc released a second apology on Twitter. He opened by saying the scar of being the deepfake porn guy was felt deeply in his heart, which is a crazy way to open an apology. He went on to say he'd be working with various law firms to take down as much of this content as he could, and to focus on it, he needed to step away from off-brand and streaming. By this point, the original site Atrioc had paid for was already taken down by its creator after receiving various legal threats. Atrioc's friends and business partners were now put in an awkward situation regarding how to respond. Ludwig in particular, whose girlfriend also appeared on the deepfake site, was expected to give a response of some sort, given their close relationship. I want to see the Ludwig take. Has Ludwig said anything about one of his best friends jerking off to Pokimane deepfakes? I'll make a mogul mail later today. Alright guys, I'm going to make a YouTube video on my personal YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers to address the allegations that my friend jerked off to Pokimane porn. Just after I ended my stream, his response was finally posted.
I don't want to like be a defender of Atrioc. Like I do believe, maybe naively, that he isn't like a shitty, seedy person who's like secretly jacking off to my girlfriend. Like I don't think that's that guy. I just hope from here he just takes all the steps and all the actions, you know, to make it better. He wrote his own tweet about how he's stepping down from off-brand to take time offline and to take these steps. You know, time will tell and show the actions that he takes.
In fairness to him, I'm not sure how someone is supposed to respond to something like this. But saying things like, he's stepping away from our business and taking steps is so vague and completely void of all meaning. Atrioc is literally paying the law firms to do the work for him. No effort on his end is required. This approach to controversy is common these days, almost like there's a rule book of how corporations and brands are supposed to respond. Step 1, say sorry. Step 2, disappear for a while until things cool off. Step 3, quietly return a few months later with nothing changed. People's expectations for one another's ability to change and fit perfectly into some hyper-specific moral code are too high. As a result, these creators and brands just lie. The alternative is admitting that a month break from work doesn't equate to changing bad behaviors or thought processes that have developed over years. That's not to say I think this is calculated. Quite the opposite, actually. It looks like somebody in a state of complete panic doing anything they can. But unfortunately for Atrioc, this will likely be his legacy. Not only is this the first impression many people have of him, it is and will likely remain the only impression they have of him. The Dexerto post on Twitter alone has over 18 million views, 16 million more than Atrioc's most viewed video. It's also the most viewed clip on his channel by a wide margin. This is such a particularly embarrassing situation. Nothing like this could have even happened just a few years ago. And this is by no means the most evil thing a Twitch streamer has done. It's probably not even the most evil thing a Twitch streamer has done this week. But it's a glimpse into a strange future where this technology only gets better and harder to distinguish from reality, where somebody's personal image and bodily autonomy is completely stripped from them by an AI, where these sorts of moral dilemmas become commonplace and almost boring. This is really just the beginning. We'll likely look back with a level of nostalgia for a time when we could tell the difference between computer-generated content and something real.
All y'all motherfuckers talking about Chief Keef ain't no hitter. Chief Keef ain't this. Chief Keef a fake. Shut the fuck up.